Whoa, 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 hey! What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here yet. This is for the next video. I gotta take you to that coilover video. Alright guys, so that's right. We're gonna be installing those coilovers, but before we could do that, let me show you the problem that we're running into. Alright, so let's take a peek in here, and what we're looking at is the spring, and we're gonna look to the top right here. You can see that the spring has been cut and it's almost coming off of the strut. This is a problem because once I start removing the strut, this whole thing could come apart, and we all know that this is under a lot of tension and it could be very dangerous when we're pulling this apart. So I had to figure out a way in how to remove this without getting hurt. All right, so basically the whole reason I'm wanting to install coilovers is so I could adjust the height, the right height. And you can see this is the front of the radiator support. Look at the bottom. It's about fist height away from the ground. Now, I know some people drive it like that, but for me, around here in Florida where we're at, the roads are really bad and I really can't drive it like this. I would bottom out very easily and probably destroy that pan. So we have to fix this. So I think I have a good idea on how to remove the struts. Let's just get to it because it's getting hot. It's Florida and we are sweating already. So let's jump into it. All right guys, so I swear to you, we purchased a car this way. This is pretty messed up. So right here, we always have noticed this. Right on top of the strut mounts, there's a socket or something that someone left behind. There's one on this side and there's one on that side. So yeah, we're gonna have to remove that. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna put pressure back on the spring, back on the shock, compress everything. We're gonna loosen this nut right here in the center. We're gonna loosen that tension, and as we raise up the vehicle very slowly, we should reduce the amount of tension we have and break the whole spring apart while it's on the vehicle.
What is that, bro? 10 mil?
I have no freaking clue what the heck they did here. Oh, is this a lug nut? This is a lug nut. Dude, that's it. That's what's holding it. A freaking lug nut. Right? This is a... Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, 12 by 1.25. This is a lug nut. What the frick?
Yeah, so there's literally nothing holding it but that lug nut, I guess. It's probably the same on that side.
Yeah. No. On this side, the lug nut is here, and then the bolt is underneath. I can see the nut right underneath it.
So this side has some support, but this side doesn't.
That side had nothing. This is some sketchy shit, bro. Sketchy. Here's a warning. We have no clue what the heck is about to happen. We don't know who put this thing together. Obviously, there's something wrong here. Guys, don't cut your springs. Do things the right way. This is really sketchy. So this is the idea. The idea now, I'm gonna raise the vehicle and the spring should release the tension. Now, you guys, both of you stand back. So I'm gonna put on some safety glasses and just pray for the best. Well, that didn't work.
So explain to us, what are we running into?
So basically, I'm trying to decompress the spring and take it apart because I don't want to handle it while it's like it's on the lip of the top of the strut. So it's basically very dangerous to handle it like that. So any wrong move, any little thing, and it could just explode on us. We don't know how they installed this, who put this together. I have no clue. I obviously don't trust this enough to remove it while it's under pressure. So I'm just trying to figure out what is the best way and how to do this without getting hurt. So that's basically what we're running into right now.
So we got the what? We got the 12 on the stubby?
Yeah. And we're doing a big no-no. We got the chrome socket on here.
No, wait, we could just paint it black and then it's
I was thinking about that. But you know what? I could probably edit that later.
All right.
Maybe I should put it in reverse.
There it goes.
All right, so I'm bringing out the spring compressors. I haven't used these in years. I mean, probably, Chris, I bought these back when you were like 4 years old, probably 3 years old. These have been with me for a long time.
What were you using these on?
I use these on the Z. I put lowering springs on the Z. I was broke back then. I couldn't afford coilovers, so I went with lowering springs. All right, so we're ready basically to yank this thing out of here. I have the spring compressor in here just in case this decides to explode on us. These, they're not under a lot of tension, just enough to be grabbing so it doesn't explode on us. So yeah, we just have the 3 bolts on the top and this should be able to slide right out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works out.
Good old electric ratchet. Alright, let's see what happens.
Explosion, ready to happen here.
It's freaking zooming in.
Alright guys, so this is the whole reason why I have taken so much precaution. Look at the spring. Look how close it is from just exploding out of there. So that's why I put the clamps on and I am taking so much care before we remove this, because at any second this thing could just explode out of there. Okay, so I'm gonna try to maneuver this out of here without getting hurt. So we're gonna make sure I am not in the line of sight of this thing. Look at this. Look how close. What the frick? Look at that.
Bro, that is insane. That is crazy.
This is why I'm doing all this. Look how close that is.
That's scary.
Whatever. Hey, whoever did this, guys, congrats, man. You dodged a bullet pretty much.
Now we're stuck with the bullet. Now we're stuck with it.
All right, guys, so I obviously can't leave this like this. I'm gonna go ahead and compress the spring, take the top of the strut mount off, and disassemble this thing. So if you ever encounter this and you're wanting to remove the spring off of the strut, make sure to compress it and wait until it's loose. Try to do both sides evenly. I know it becomes difficult because it is in a coil and sometimes the clamps, they want to kind of walk on you and go sideways. So just take your time when you do this. It's a good idea to invest in a good set of clamps. These are mediocre. I bought these a long time ago to just get the job done, but take your time when you're doing something like this. And pay attention, I don't have the strut angle like this, like a rocket. So in case something happens, it goes that way and it doesn't hit my face. So be careful, this is very dangerous.
This is the winner?
This is the winner, bro. All right, so you just simply remove the top and now the spring is released from in here. Now we're separate. All right, guys, so here is the science why you shouldn't cut the springs. So if you look right here, this is the spring. And in the bottom of it, you can see the spring kind of goes inwards, okay? And that's designed so it could grip onto the strut. Now, when you cut the spring, you're cutting the part that shrinks down. So when you're cutting the spring, you're not able to grip the top of the strut mount anymore. It is too big, okay? So that's why we were running into the problem of the situation where it was cut and the spring was falling off of it. It doesn't fit correctly. When you install this, it doesn't fit correctly. And to mention that this lines up in a coil. So if you cut it in the wrong spot, you can see this goes like this. If you cut it in the wrong spot, it doesn't line up correctly. So that's why you don't cut the springs, because basically it needs to be, you can see this part is wider, this part is skinnier. The skinnier part is designed to fit inside here. The wider part has a harder time fitting inside here. So that's why you shouldn't do this. This is very dangerous. Just buy lowering springs. They're cheap, they're affordable, or just go to Timo and buy coilovers. That works just as good. Okay, so I also discovered that this shock, it's gone, it's shot. Look at this. This is bad.
So it was time to go anyways.
Yeah, this is junk. All right, so I have preloaded all of these right here, all 3 of these coilovers, and now I'm missing one more. And let me show you what I'm talking about when it comes to a preload. The preload It is done by compressing the spring as close as you can to here, okay? Then you do it hand tight, and then once you have it hand tight, you twist this piece right here, and then you start to compress the spring further. And I have them all set to 6 millimeters. So basically, I'm gonna just walk you through how I do it. I'm gonna go ahead and compress it. Let's move this back. I want them to all match, so I'm doing it all the same, okay? That's as far as I can go, twisting it by hand. So now I get this collar right here and I spin it all the way to the top. Okay, so now that's all the way to the top right here. So now what I do is use one of these tools. I hold down the coilover and I start to tighten this up. Now as I started to tighten this collar up, now there's a space that's been created here. This is about 6 millimeters. This turned off already because, you know, I set it here, I held it down, and this is what I set all the other ones to. But you want them to all be uniform, so that's why I did it like this. I used the caliper to measure the distance that we put the preload on. So it's about 6 millimeters of preload. So now I just tighten this part right here and we send it home. So that's lock in place. These are all set. Now I'm just gonna adjust the right height so they could all be uniform when I install it. I'm gonna do the front to a certain length and then we'll do the same thing to the back. So right now I'm just getting an overall idea in when I install this, how low it's gonna sit. So I could see that there's gonna be a gap in the top. So we're gonna go with this height. This is a good height to start with. It's gonna be fine-tuned later once we lower the car down and we put all the weight down, but I'm gonna go with this height. This is gonna be fine. So now basically what I do is get this collar and bring it all the way down. We're gonna hold it in there. I'm not gonna put it too tight. I just put it hand tight. I know that this is the height that I want. So now I'm gonna get the caliper. I'm gonna measure the distance between here and here. We got about 55 millimeters. We're gonna lock this in place, and now I'm gonna adjust the other front one the same way. So I did that so when the coilovers are sitting in the vehicle, we're already pretty close, we're even on both sides, and it's gonna be easier to adjust later. I know that's how far I wanna take it, so I'm gonna leave that collar there and just twist this one up. So just like that, we're good to go. So now when I lined them up like this, we can see that we're even on both sides. So since these are all adjustable, I just want to make sure that they're even when I install them. Alright, they're coming through. Let's put a little bit of Loctite on there.
Wait, we need to put a lug nut right here.
Right there?
Yeah.
Should I loosen this?
So we just put the Smurf fluid on the on the bolts there, the nuts. You think it's important to have a belt full of tools, like a tool belt?
The tool belt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would get a tool belt if I were you.
Really?
Yeah, it'll make you a faster tech.
Really?
Yeah.
It'll look cool too.
To me, it'll look like I'm like handy-manny.
Exactly. You could put a water bottle in there. I'm still gonna have to make a special bracket. Let me show you. I had to do this on the G35. I had to make a bracket to hold this. I don't want this to just hang. Sure, I could zip tie it, but I'm gonna make a bracket so it stays out of the way when the car turns and this hose isn't flopping all over the place. This is the Allen key that slides into the top of the shock. This is the part that lets you adjust the dampening, and we're gonna put it all the way to hard. That's what she said.
So what is the benefit of a harder dampener?
So
It's just harder, stiffer. All right, this is probably not the final ride height, but let's see how close did we get. I mean, it looks about the same.
looks almost lower than the cut springs.
Yeah.
I think it was lower. I think it is lower.
So we obviously have to go a lot higher, but let's just install the other one and then we even everything out. All right, guys, here's the other one on the other side. And you can see it was on the edge the same way. But this one had this type of lug nut or whatever the heck this is, and the actual nut that goes there. All right, so both of them are working on this side of the coilovers. You could only relate to this if you're a car guy. Somehow, this is fun for us. Doing this out here in the sun, working on the cars, this is fun for us. And like I said, you could only relate if you're a car guy. Everybody else thinks that we're crazy. All right, we're all done with the front, and now we're moving to the rear. Wonder what surprise we end up with. It's gonna be something. Something's gonna happen. All right, we're getting closer and closer. So now we're in the rear. That spring in there, that goes away, and we gotta remove that strut. So let's get to it. All right, so Chris did really quick work here. He removed the strut, and now the lower control arm is off, and we could just bend it just like this, and we could get the spring out of the way. This spring is not used anymore. Just falls right off.
As you can see, it was cut.
Yep, it's cut just the same way.
G37 owners.
Yeah, for sure. G35 owners too.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna continue working. The bad guy's going to work right now. All right, man, see you later. All right, Chris, do you even know what you're doing?
Bro, I don't know.
All right, so I knew something was gonna happen, and here it is. Here's what happened. Here's the strut, here's the factory one, and you can see the nut is welded on there. And here on the aftermarket one, it doesn't have one. So last time with the G35, when we installed the same exact struts, we had a hard time locating this nut. We couldn't find it anywhere. I went to Lowe's, I went all over town looking for this size. I couldn't find one. I finally found some in a bucket that I had, and I installed it. But I don't think I'm gonna go through all of that trouble. I think I'm gonna cut this out of here, and I'm gonna grind it down so we could reuse this nut. So I think that's gonna be faster. It's still hot. You can see the steam coming off of it. But now we could use this right in here, and it's gonna work. So let's go ahead and install it. All right, so we have it installed. We removed the spring. That's gone. We don't need that anymore. The spring it's built into the strut right in here in this coilover. And right in here, I don't know if you can see, I have that nut that I cut, and I was able to install it just fine. So we're good. One more to go and we're done. Zillion degrees out here in Florida. This is crazy. Yes. We keep taking breaks because it's so hot, and we have this swamp cooler on. I turned it off real quick so we could record, but it is bad right now. All right, guys, I've given up. This is the only way to stay cool now.
Yeah, it is, honestly.
It's bad. It is bad.
You do that, plus this, it'll feel somewhat better. Somewhat,
better.
just a little bit. Just a little.
All right, so we have it a lot lower than the cut springs right now, and that's okay. We're gonna leave it like that. We're not gonna adjust anything until the wheels get here. But check this out, guys. This is how we got this vehicle. It's missing lug nuts everywhere. There's some tires, there's some wheels that only have 2 lug nuts. We're missing 2 right here in the back. This is ridiculous. Okay, so we are all done. This is the last one. We're finished. So now we install the tire and we're done for the day. All right, guys, do you think it was time to do struts? Check this out.
Bro,
What the frick?
It failed the rebound test.
Damn, it's done. They're done. Hey, if you guys want some struts, I'm gonna put these on Marketplace. Okay, so we're all done, and the car is 100 times lower than when we started. Well, maybe not 100, but it's a lot lower. Later, I'm gonna adjust these once I get some rims, because I don't want to have to raise it up and then lower it down again. And this is the look I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for what Chris has got going on in his G35. Just a little bit of a tough look, not too aggressive, and he could drive his car and it doesn't bottom out. So basically, next I get to concentrate on the body. Now that we have addressed the engine, the transmission, the seats, the dash, everything has been addressed. Now I get to concentrate on the body and making this thing look good again. All right guys, so thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned, because very soon I'm gonna be making a post and I'm gonna be letting you guys pick what style of wheels we're gonna install on the G37. So I'll probably put a selection of 3 different styles of wheels, and you guys get to pick. So I'm gonna let the fans, I'm gonna let the viewers pick what do we put on the G37. So stay tuned for that, so you get to vote and voice your opinion, and we could turn this car from a junkyard car into a show car. So we'll see you in the next video.